This is episode 23 of the Faith Over Breakfast podcast. With
Michael Jordan episode.
And Andy. Hey, I just want to say, Sean, heads up, man. This is a podcast where you get in it and be nice to me next time I see you.
Yeah, or else it's going to happen again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Well, we dove into a few topics. Some we may revisit.
Yes, like Sean.
Like Sean. Yeah, we might have a whole podcast about him. Yeah, if you hang in there down the way, we get into doubt,
Christmas, beautiful stuff about your dad.
Yeah, and about some people in your church,
yeah.
and Christmas time with them, and it gets there's some heartfelt stuff in here.
Yeah, it gets serious.
It does.
If you want to know the hearts of your pastors, this is a podcast to listen to because you hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also how much we like or dislike Brueggers.
Yeah, I was going to say, we owe a big shout out to XO Coffee because we talk about Brueggers more than them. And so, XO, you're great. Thank you. We love your loft. We love your space. We love your food. We love your coffee. Thank you. So, enjoy the podcast.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast. My name's Andy Littleton, here with my buddy Eric. Eric, how's it going this morning?
I'm feeling okay. We're in XO Coffee, drinking coffee.
Yeah, I'm drinking a cortado, had my sandwich. You're not eating. You ate 3 hours ago.
I ate with Russ.
Oh. Yeah.
Had a bagel.
Yeah.
Little cream cheese.
Brueggers.
Yeah, Brueggers. That's where I live.
Eric is a Brueggers regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only they would come on as a sponsor for Faith Over Breakfast. That would be a conflict of interest with XO. We really like XO.
We do like XO,
but Eric supports Brueggers in such a big
support.
Way.
Since, for 20 years I've been eating there.
Yeah, are you a member of the Bottomless Mug Club?
I am a member of the Bottomless Mug Club.
I have a serious question about the Bottomless Mug Club.
This
came up the other day. Do you have to use the mug?
No, you get a card.
So you could get a cup of whatever, like iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
Ah.
You can get it, and you can get a soda. You can get tea. Get coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal because Brueggers is all over the place.
Yeah.
So as a pastor, I can just say, "Hey, let's meet," and they say, "Where?" Well, I just think of whatever Brueggers is close to them, and then I say, "Let's meet there," and it's free.
And you get free coffee.
Yeah.
They don't.
No, they don't. But they can if they meet with me in the month of December.
Oh, because you can get one for a friend.
I buy the card early, and so then I have 2 cards, and they'll give me 2 free drinks.
Wow. Now here's a question: do you buy the card? Does the church?
The church buys the card.
The church buys the card. Yeah.
Because
this is a big part of your ministry.
It's a big part of my ministry.
Is this coffee? Yeah.
And it's like $189.
Yeah.
That's.
But when you work that out, I've seen, because I go to a Brueggers on Fridays. When I'm out near my daughter's school and I don't feel like driving an hour and a half round trip to come back home. When I'm out there, there's a Brueggers, and unless I want to go sit at some Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
I've seen Brueggers is closer to coffee shop. That's what I do. But so I've seen all their breakdowns of how much money you save if you do the Bottomless Mug Club. But I don't know. I'm there once a week.
You're once a week, so that's 4 times a month.
Yeah, I wonder what that.
I think it was like $2.50 for a cup of coffee in there.
Yeah, I don't like their coffee.
No, it's not good. So I'm glad that none of them listen to this show.
Right. Yeah.
Now, their iced coffee is much better.
Yeah.
They double brew it. It sits in the refrigerator for a while, so it gets a little bit of flavor. It's strong. It's so strong that I had to stop drinking it.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was probably at least 40% of my problem.
Wow. You were just buzzing pretty hard.
I think it was on my stomach. It was just so harsh on my stomach.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been drinking those iced coffees for 3 years straight, every day.
So I've been trading them at the Brueggers I go to. I want because I get a mocha there.
Okay.
And then they usually serve it to you in this ginormous cup that anywhere else would be like an extra large. If you were to come here to Exo, they would be like, sorry, we don't have that size. Well, that's
Right.
their small. That's their small mocha. Okay. And so I was just like, look, that you're serving me essentially like 16 ounces of hot milk with a little espresso in it, and that's really not what I'm looking for.
Right.
So I've got them giving me their smallest coffee cup, which they do not offer in mocha.
Right.
And then I asked them to not even fill that, to fill it up to like an inch below the top of that.
Wow.
And then double the espresso.
All right.
And then give me a little milk and just a little bit of chocolate, because they like to could do like
Just
a
lay
third
it
of the
right
cup
on
of
you.
chocolate.
Yeah.
And when that all happens, it turns out to where I'm okay with it. It's okay. I'm getting pretty accustomed to it. In a weird way, I want one sometimes, which is
that's bad.
Yeah.
This is how Brueggers gets you.
Yeah. You're like kind of the sandwich there. I got food poisoning at Brueggers.
Really?
We're tearing Brueggers down. Is what we're doing.
And I love Brueggers and
Yeah, I got food poisoning, but there's this one sandwich that I've become quite hooked on.
Yeah.
And it was nasty food poisoning this past year. But I still, the next week I couldn't bring myself to have it. But then the next week I was like, I really do want that sandwich again.
Let's talk about the sandwich. What sandwich is it?
It's the Western.
Yeah.
On rosemary olive oil.
Yeah, people really like that one. It's their most popular one.
I bet it is.
I refuse to eat any of their sandwiches. On occasion, I'll have a turkey sandwich. I just have a bagel and cream cheese. It's safe.
Yeah, that's safe.
Yeah. I like to say, one, that we are Faith Over Breakfast, and two, this is our 23rd podcast.
23, Michael Jordan.
That's right. And I listened to last week's podcast, and it was really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. So much so that I was thinking, we need to get this podcast out to more people.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not just make a pitch on air to the, 51 listeners that we have.
Yeah.
We've got no budget and no money.
No.
But if you thought, hey, I have some ways to promote this and could make it happen, there might be a job for you in the future as, the Faith Over Breakfast admin / promoter / advertiser / all-around cool person.
There might not be a job for you either.
There may not, unless, you bring in a lot of income and we just can't say no.
But there might be.
I mean, our board of directors would have to talk about it.
That's right. Have a vote.
We'd have to incorporate.
We'd have to. Well, we'd have to incorporate. We'd have to take minutes.
We'd have to separate from our two entities that already exist that we represent.
Yeah. Wow. That's all very complicated.
Hire an entourage.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is getting overwhelming. But this is our 23rd podcast, and I think it's a cool accomplishment.
Yeah, man.
It's fun just sitting around talking into a mic. It's good stuff.
I've enjoyed every minute.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with me. And, today we've got, we had all sorts of topics. I want to talk about your communication techniques just for a moment before we jump in.
Okay.
So I've got these topics on my mind last night. I'm at the Arizona Wildcats game with your buddy Rod. We're sitting up under the Jason Terry jersey where he sits.
Yeah.
He's dressed kind of like a cowboy Santa Claus, which was very exciting. And I'm texting you some topics, and I just keep getting kind of a sad looking smiley face.
Yeah. But
and
apparently, my phone likes to text you lots of emojis.
Yeah, and you only like to send one,
Yes.
but your phone sends it again.
Apparently.
Yeah, so I get this double emojis, and I'm going, this guy's not taking me seriously. So I didn't know what we were talking about, and apparently you were trying to affirm the things I was saying.
Yeah, I just smiled at you as if that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I should have given you a smiley face and a thumbs up.
Oh, that would have been clear as day.
That would have been clear.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm not a great texter either.
Right.
This is the discussion we were having right before we, turned on the mic.
I'm a little too direct. People think I'm mad at them.
Yeah, because you just say no.
Yeah, so I got to put a smiley face next to the no so that they know I'm saying it with a smiley face.
Eric, am I going to see you for Christmas? No. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're just, that's all you have to say.
Well, if you try to word it correctly, then it produces a sense of anxiety, and then maybe it opens a couple doors that you didn't mean to open, or people you offend.
And now you're going to be texting for the next hour
about
it.
Do that.
Oh, hey, buddy. It was really great to hear from you. Potentially we could get together, but as I'm looking at my calendar, I see a lot of things coming up. My family's actually in town, and that just gets overwhelming.
Yeah, and then it's a paragraph that you have to write with your thumbs.
Yeah.
Which
thumb paragraphs.
I'm 45.
I've had some minor tendinitis in my right hand from texting. Or something. So I assumed texting.
Right. Because you don't use the mouse on this.
No.
Yeah,
but the type, I don't know. There's the typing motion. And anyway.
So, yes. But Christmas is coming up. You texted me you want to talk about my foot. And the boiling water.
Yeah. What happened? You've kind of described this to me, but the train's coming, so this matters.
I'll make it really fast. So my wife ran out of gas on Tuesday, and she called me, and I said, shoot, I'm boiling pasta right now. It's going to take 5 minutes before I can go pick you up. She's like, don't worry about it. I'll just walk. And I was like, I don't want my wife walking at 4:30. It's cold outside.
4:30 a.m. or p.m.?
p.m.
Yeah.
And your dinner's coming.
It'd be weird to be making pasta at 4:30 a.m.
That would be a little... Well, who knows? My wife was actually making pasta at 7 this morning for lunches. So.
Go figure.
Anyway, I grabbed the boiling water, poured it into the sink and colander way too fast. It came flying back out of the sink, and I jumped backwards. Luckily, I had shoes on, and it landed on my ankle.
Oh, no.
And gave me a pretty severe second-degree burn.
Oh.
And it hurts right now. It's aching a little bit. But because I have a good medical team in my church, they went to work and got me taken care of very fast.
Yeah.
Much different than going to urgent care.
Yeah.
A few texts, a few pictures, prescriptions got called in. Wow. It was good stuff.
That helps.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds painful.
It was painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what the problem is that now I cannot play basketball with you. So, though you said on the past podcast that you felt like that I had maybe some skill, I cannot demonstrate how untrue that was anymore, at least for another 7 weeks or so. Which really irritates me. I might try to come out and shoot hoops, but I don't know if I'll... Yeah,
you should be
running
competing.
Around.
Yeah. Well, come out, man. There's a whole basketball gym empty. So why not? Every morning. Anyway, so then, we're coming up on Christmas. We just had my dad's memorial service. Yes. That was a thing.
That was awesome.
And that's kind of when, Eric, you got a hold of me and said you were going to have to come in flip-flops and you were feeling bad.
Well, you put out like the dress code.
It wasn't a code. It was
flannel and the corduroy, which I was excited about because I love to wear corduroys and flannel. So I'm like, oh man, again.
I put that out there to relieve people of the feeling that they had to wear a suit. It was more like my dad would have worn corduroy and flannel. So if you could fit in with him, you're going to fit in.
Yeah.
Which means if you're in shorts and flip-flops, that's fine. Is what I was thinking. But look at that. Not clear communication.
Yeah, but I showed up, and I must say that I was the worst dressed person at the...
You were. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Let's just be honest.
I'm not going to argue with you.
I mean, when I pull up...
Nobody cared.
And by the way, shout out to Sean. Who every time I see him now harasses me about the podcast. He's one of our most avid listeners. He's an avid
because he's working in the wood shop. I'll walk in and it's playing.
Yeah.
That's
exciting. Maybe we could give him the promoting job. But anyway, I see him and he's looking his hip self as usual.
He was like the overdressed guy.
I mean,
he's got his tie on and his cool boots.
If I could come back as somebody, if reincarnation was real, and I'd come back as Sean. He does woodwork, and he looks cool.
Great beard.
And he has something I could never do. He has a great beard. What? But he's got the genetics.
Yeah.
Now he never talked to me again. Now he sees me. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's just say Sean Hunter has superior genetics. For all those here in Tucson who know him, and for the rest of you around the globe who don't know him, he does.
Yes. Dave Liver Breakfast just told you the truth about Sean.
Oh, man.
And that may be the title of our podcast. The truth about Sean.
I like it. Oh, man. So we had my dad's memorial service, which was good.
How was that for you?
It was good. We, my family, we went over everything that was going to be in there the night before and just cried together, which was really good. And then, so it was hard, but it was, I don't know, it was good. I was glad for the people that came, and we got to spend some time with some family members. And I discovered that my family is not like good at staying in touch, but there's this one younger guy who's there that turned out like grew up running around at my grandparents' property as well, and I have one of the old cars from out there that was my dad's first car, and he has one of the old cars from out there too, and he lives here in town, and just like weird, we had all these similar, all these things in common, and I'd actually never met him.
Wow.
And so it's kind of fun to talk to him and meet some folks, and then see people I had known and who could tell me more about my dad. It was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for coming, Eric.
No, I was really happy to be there. I was glad I made it.
Yeah. And then,
So, I mean, and how is your daughter dealing with that? Like, I was watching her a lot. I mean, the two things, I mean, there are a couple things that hit me about the memorial service. One, at moments in pictures, how much your dad looks like a smaller version of my dad. That was a little freaky.
Interesting.
The other one was you without a beard and as a kid. Because, I mean, we haven't been friends for long, so experiencing that was kind of weird. It was just like,
who is this guy?
Yeah, so that was cool. And then watching your daughter, which was obviously emotionally heavy on her in a different way than it was on the rest of the family as I watched.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, she was. I kind of feel like she hasn't maybe. I mean, just watch. Like she's felt some things, and when she first learned that he was going to die, that was hard. I mean, I fell apart when I told her that, and so she did too. But it was sweet in those last couple days when we watched that slideshow for the first time. I'm like, I'm gonna get choked up right now. Whew. But yeah, she really was impacted by the pictures of her and Papa. It was hard. It was sweet though, because they were close.
Yeah, that I picked up in a big way.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
I think it's really powerful, like, to have watched my kids' relationship with my parents, because they don't have the same filters.
Yeah.
And so there's such a richness and, like, I don't know, almost holiness to the relationship with their grandkid.
Yeah.
Especially when they're young.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I can attest to that too. And it was sweet to remember those things, and we'll do it more. But it was good to see her feeling that, But it was sad, really sad. She gave me a whole talk the night before, and I don't know where it came from. I kind of feel like somebody tried to console her. She was telling me that he's not really gone. We were walking around the neighborhood a little bit, and she said, he's not really gone. We're going to see him again. It's not a big deal. And I kind of slowed down with her, and I said, yeah, I know what you mean, and I know what people mean when they say that. And it's true. There's a lot of hope, and we do believe that life goes on and is eternal, and that Papa is safe and free from pain, and that we will be with him and with Jesus. I said, but he's not here, and it's okay to be sad about that, because we're going to miss him for the rest of our lives. And so we kind of had, and I felt like she was really, it almost felt like that was like a relief to her, that maybe she was allowed to feel sad about it,
Yeah.
Instead of just like feeling like she needed to be like, oh, it's fine, it's not a big deal, And so we had that little conversation walking around, which was sweet, because like taking walks with Dad was one of my things, So we got to do that together. It was good. Man. Tired. Yeah. Our buddy Ray, who's living with us, he lost his mom early. So it's like a lot of my friends haven't lost parents, but he has. And it's been good to have him there. He gets it. So that's like, it's been good to talk to him. Yeah, it's been a hard time, man. It's been sad. Yeah. Radio silence that's appropriate here.
Yeah, well, this is Faith Over Breakfast, and it's just two conversations, a conversation between two pastors, so
that's what you
there
get.
may be some dead space when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Of course, it gets louder and louder in here.
The quieter we are, the louder the room is getting. I know, what's up with that?
I don't know, it sounds like there's a big old party.
Like, EXO was dead last week.
It was.
And then, now it's like everybody's chatting. They're on Christmas break.
Yeah.
So what do you do for Christmas?
Oh, my goodness. What do I do for Christmas? Well...
What does your family do? What's Christmas like for the Deepen?
Well, Christmas is... when it comes to celebrating, there's a couple of cool things. It started last night.
Yeah.
So about 6 years ago, Samantha Bloom, who goes to our church, lost her husband, and she had 4 little kids under the age of, at that time, I guess they were all under the age of 5, which is an overwhelming thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of stepped in and started meeting with her boys, taking them out, trying to, kind of head up whatever we were doing to take care of, really the first widow in our church.
Yeah.
And so fast forward 6 years later, we have a Christmas celebration at our house with them every single, the Monday before Christmas. So that happened last night, and it was really interesting because 2 weeks ago, Rod in his sermon kind of posed like the idea when Mary goes and pours all of the perfume over Jesus, and Judas gets upset. He kind of juxtaposed those two things, that Mary gives everything to Jesus, and basically Judas sells Jesus at slaves' wages.
Yeah.
So he has Jesus as a slave. Mary sees him as the one who she gives a gift to.
Yeah.
And so he had kind of posed the question, is Jesus your slave, or is Jesus, what would you give Jesus on his birthday instead of getting something on his birthday?
Wow.
So I posed that question at the dinner table, and it was kind of fun because we had 2 empty chairs, so we pulled the chairs out, and we said, okay, Jesus is sitting here, and then when the littlest boy Zeke said, and can you pull the other chair out so Sean can be here too? And
wow.
So, yeah.
This was his son?
His son said that. So his dad wanted his dad to be there too, while we told kind of Jesus what we would give him. And it was fun. Some people talked about how they give him a picture of themselves, and others were more, spiritual obedience and submission, and some people wanted to give him sandals and a jacket. And it was, it had kind of a serious and a funny kind of a way to it, but it was just really powerful.
Wow, yeah.
To just taste the loss and realize that there's nothing that you can do, and that how Christmas is really more disruptive than it is you're just reminded that whatever gift you give, even if it's the perfect one and everything that they wanted, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't fix anything, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't fix a thing. And so that's how my Christmas started. And then Friday we'll do our house Christmas, which is, we live in a community house.
Yeah.
So we do fried chicken and open presents.
That's, how many years have you done fried chicken?
For about 8 years, because we usually did a turkey, and one year the turkey got put in the oven and didn't get turned on. So we were rushing around and we fried chicken together as a house, and it just became a tradition.
It became a thing.
Yeah.
I love that.
So that was cool. And then the weekend is dedicated to either my family personally or Christmas Eve, which is, we get up in the morning, we go over to Sue's parents, or it'll be Sue's brother this year. We spend most of the day there, then we'll rush over to our candlelight service. Yeah. And then after that, we'll go to my parents, and we'll spend Christmas Eve there. And then we'll come back in the morning and spend most of the day at my parents' house.
Yeah.
So it's kind of by the end, by Monday night, you're like, wow, I'm just glad that the gift giving thing is over and the family thing is over, and it's just a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, last night was really good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a moment. Like, that's one of those ones that just comes out of, like, I would assume you're just all, like, you're not ready for that. But it's not. Like, beautiful.
Yeah.
Sad all at the same time.
Yeah. It's a whole bunch of things happening there. Wow, it's you and I, that's the crying podcast.
Yeah. Hey, it's good. I guess that's podcast 23 is where you get the real Andy and Eric who can't even keep talking anymore, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. What's Christmas like for you?
Well, it's I mean, speaking of not being able to fix things, ours is different every year because you know, my daughter isn't always with us the same times, and it's always a little different, and so we always have to try to work out like what we can coordinate with the family. So this year, she's doing vacation time with her mom, which is good. We often use some of our vacation time at the end of the year, and this year her mom's using it, but it's just this thing where it's like, oh, she's not with us for Christmas or the whole week after.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's just one of those, like, you know, just when you go, like, it's not supposed to be like that, you know, like, you're not, it's just shouldn't be. And so we'll do Christmas Eve, we'll do something on Christmas Eve, but that just, every year for us, just in our family, in our story, Christmas, like, it's hard to do traditions because it's always a little different. And so there have been years where, like, Abby and I have stumbled on a fun thing. I think last year it happened because I was delivering her out to her mom's house, and we were running early and we were hungry. Maybe that was, I don't know what the situation. It was Christmas morning, or my wife was working. Maybe that's what it was. But whatever the case was, it was Christmas morning, and we couldn't really. There really wasn't anything to do for a little period of time, and we were kind of like, well. We're hungry, it's Christmas, shouldn't we do something special? So we went driving around, and there was Denny's, but just neither one of us was really feeling Denny's. And then we drove by a Waffle House, and she loves waffles, and she goes, oh, it's open, you know. And we went in, and there was just the people were just in the mode of, like, all the waitresses were dressed up, and Christmas music was on, and there were all these, like, kind of straggling travelers and whatnot there, and we had a really fun time. So I have a sneaking suspicion there will be more Waffle House Christmas mornings in our future. But yeah, we love to set up a tree, and we love our gift giving is very minimal, but it's been sweet. And then that Nativity Story movie, I'm not a Christian movie guy. That could be a podcast right there. Just we could.
So you didn't watch Fireproof?
No, I did not watch Fireproof, nor Facing the Giants, nor any of those.
Did you watch Shack?
No, I did not watch Shack. I've read the book The Shack, but I did not watch the movie The Shack. So we could. Yeah, we should. That should be a podcast someday.
That's a dangerous podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's do it, man. Those are the ones we need to do. I think
more dangerous than worship music. I think.
Oh, let's go for it. But the Nativity Story is actually, like, I feel like it does an okay job of kind of, you know, presenting some of, like, what happened, and that things weren't just simple, and that there was political struggle. And so we've watched it at some point around Christmas lately with Abby, and just kind of curl up on the couch and keep it simple. And then the other thing that's become a tradition for us by surprise, but that I really like, is we do we're calling the Free Elephant gift party with a group of friends, and it kind of started with the group of friends we started the church with. And that is where the rules are: the week of Christmas, you have to find something for free. It could be a dumpster. It could be you go to an event and they're giving free water bottles. It could be something you make out of stuff you find for free. It could be on the side of the road.
Nice.
You could re-gift something you got this year. not supposed to be last year. People break the rules, but there's these parameters are supposed to be kept. And so, you're not supposed to pay anything. And then most of the time we've done thin pancakes, which are one of my favorite. I've got a recipe I really like.
Okay.
And then we've done mimosas with oranges from the tree, which this year they're not looking so good. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But that has become a thing where, this year I wasn't sure if we were going to do it, and some friends were like, "Are we doing that this year?" And I'm like, "Oh, cool! I think this is going to be a thing. This is going to be the fourth one."
Cool. When's
and
that
that's
happening?
Been really fun. That is on. When is that? 22nd.
So it hasn't happened yet.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's been really fun, and Abby will get to be with us for that.
That's cool.
I'm excited about. I found a free thing on Craigslist that I think she's gonna want. I'm excited, and she might not get it, but I think she'll go for
fight
it.
for it.
And this year, there's something I really want to get. I probably shouldn't even mention it on here. Somebody is going to come. I don't know. My wife and I are in a major marital disagreement as to whether or not I should acquire this free thing.
Okay.
Because there's a risk that we end up with it. So anyway,
another goat.
Another goat. There probably is a free goat out there somewhere.
I'm sure goats could go for free.
So that's one of our traditions, and then of course, just spending time with our friends at church. I mean, this year our Sunday service is Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
But
do you guys do anything special?
Not over the top.
Okay.
It's actually a simpler. We don't do the meal together because you might be going home, but I've still just really come to enjoy that time with folks at church. And in fact, Epicenter, the church we merged with, our first service together before there were any merger conversations was a Christmas Eve. So it's kind of cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Our Christmas Eve service is the most popular service. And people talk about it. That's the thing they don't want to miss. And we sing 8, 9 Christmas carols.
Yeah.
The last 4, people hold candles while singing them. Somewhere in
pretty
there,
standard.
I'll lay down maybe a bit of a dramatic kind of reading of Luke. And that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some desserts afterwards, and people head home to do their thing.
That sounds about right.
And people love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're talking just kind of having coffee and hot cocoa and some snacks maybe, and just simple. Yeah,
pretty cool.
That's sweet. So I love all those things, but I wish, and I long for, some more traditions for our family that we just can't have.
Yeah.
And then you wonder about. I've known kids where there were multiple moms and dads. That, one boy has one dad, another boy has another, and there's and you're moving around on Christmas, and I just think about those folks, and it's such a different experience.
Yeah, Christmas is not often easy.
Yeah, there are a lot of things come up, right?
Yes, things you've been avoiding all year.
Yeah, we were talking about our Christmas series has been Humble Christmas, kind of talking about Philippians 2 and. Christ humbled himself. We're supposed to be humble. We were working through that. And one of the things I was thinking about is how, Christmas, a lot of people have been saying to me, oh, it's going to be hard without your dad. And interestingly, I think that's true. And I know that's true for many people. But my mom and dad and I it wasn't like there was an elaborate Christmas tradition. And so it won't be like the empty chair, I don't think.
Yeah.
In this situation, for me, it's the empty walk around the neighborhood. Those were the most special times for me. But so that one, isn't landing as the hardest thing. But for me, it's often the expectations that come up around Christmas about what you're hoping somebody else would do for you or think about, that they would consider you and have you in their heart deeply. And so often that it's there, it's close. Sometimes you get that gift and they just thought of you so much, or you get that time, but so often you don't. It's not quite there. And I don't know about you, but that's throughout the years, that's been a big struggle. And then realizing I do that to people. You know, like people
Sure.
are looking at me and hoping for something from me, especially around these holidays and when families get together. And so often I disappoint, and I'm tired, and I fall asleep, and Christmas game night, and whatever, you know.
That sounds a little bit like you're becoming the old man.
That's just the old man. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, what a, like, I mean, I think that's definitely a thing. It's just like deep disappointments, and it's not. I mean, deaths and people who aren't there. That's huge. That is huge. I know, and probably more so for folks that have like the rich family traditions.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so many disappointments. Which ones do you see as a pastor?
Disappointments in Christmas. I just see loneliness. I mean, loneliness.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that you're alone, especially when you're on the outside of family things.
Yeah.
Inside family, it's a reminder that you're alone because of maybe the hardships between your siblings and you, or ways. It just kind of exacerbates the way you've related all your life.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there aren't really rich times.
Yeah, but it's not what you wish it was.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not connected to yourself if you don't feel some of those things during Christmas. I mean, because I think about Christmas, it's like every little scene in the story is a disruptive scene. You know, I mean, Mary and Joseph are disrupted to get where they're going. The shepherds are disrupted to be told about Jesus. You know, the universe is disrupted. So Herod is disrupted. I mean, you can go on and on. So it's like
this was not a comfortable. Wow, what a wonderful thing broken. It probably didn't feel that way at all. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty certain that like the whole consumerism, Christmas tree, good food, happy songs were not any part of the.
Of course not.
that beginning of the story. But anyway, I mean,
why do you think we're so dead set on that being what Christmas should be like then?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things about Christmas. Like, for instance, the pagan holiday that it all comes from was a violent and debaucherous and horrific holiday that the church, in all its brilliance, transformed.
Right.
And
that's some people would say like, oh, that's terrible, it's a pagan thing, but it's like, is not the Church of Jesus Christ called to transform things?
Yes.
Like, and so it's like if there's a bar where women are taken advantage of and it's terrible, and the church comes in and reforms it and makes it a beautiful restaurant where wine gladdens the heart and no one is taken advantage of it all. Like that's beautiful. That's good.
It's a very beautiful thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I think, one of the most powerful things is an older man once told me, we were just talking about times you might want to live in the past, and he said, well, anything, post-Jesus is better than anything pre-Jesus. And it's kind of foolish for us to think that we talk about the Dark Ages and the corruption of the church, but a lot of what we live with, our understanding of justice that we talked about last week, our all these things come at the core from the cross and from the resurrection, and history takes time to reform.
Yeah.
But like God's image on man, why you value life at all is because of Jesus.
Yeah.
Not because of Buddha, not because of any other faith.
Yeah.
It's because of Jesus. It can all be traced back there. And you can't really argue with that. You may not like Jesus, you may not think he was God.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, you asked the question about why do I think we are so insistent on it. I think there's some like it's fun to go and buy a gift for someone, and it's fun.
That idea of giving and, that's a beautiful image of what human relationship is to be like. Yeah.
I do think some of it is that we're caught up, not in Christmas, but in the consumerist world that we live in, that Christmas just feeds it really well.
Yeah. Something I was working through when preparing the sermon for last week was this idea that, like, the gift, everything's spoiled. There are good things that are spoiled.
Yeah.
And so anything in the book of Philippians that we're studying, there are these pretentious people who are taking advantage of the fact that Paul is in prison. And so I was saying, the arrogant people who aren't humble in this book are missionaries. And so missionary service could be really good, should be really good, but here, not at all. And the same kind of thing can happen at Christmas. The gift giving where you would lay down your self, your money, your time to think of others, can so easily become spoiled and can become about I have to give them a gift because they gave me one, or I have to be seen as good and valuable and like I have a good plan, and I have to do it for all these reasons, and that just makes it all kind of sad, and I'm sure that factors there's layers to consumerism. I'm sure that factors into it, but when gift giving becomes about, in a strange way, about me, and I've got to have a good plan for the gifts. I've got to make sure everybody knows what everybody wants. I've got to do, because everybody has to see me and know I'm on top of things.
Right.
Yeah, it just kind of, it just didn't feel right.
Right.
Gift giving was meant to be free and because of love and genuine care. And, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a power in getting a gift when you don't get a gift for someone else.
Oh, I think it's almost, it's beautiful.
It's so hard.
It is.
And it connects you to the gift of Jesus.
Yep, because you didn't get that gift from Jesus because you gave him one, and because you were so great and so worthy.
Yeah.
Or because you were thinking of him.
Right.
He was thinking of you when you were not thinking of him. And he gives... Right, and so it is hard, but... just right. But it's beautiful, and it does something in the heart that doesn't happen when it's a gift exchange. I hate the word gift exchange.
Yeah,
that is not a gift. That is a transaction.
That is a transaction.
It's an exchange. I brought you a gift. You brought me a gift. That's garbage.
Right. I agree. I think maybe we should just give each other vouchers and go buy what you want.
Right. I wish we would all just have parties where we would just give each other permission to go buy something, and then just go buy it,
and then tell everybody what you bought.
Yeah. And hey, look, I got what I wanted. Because that really is what it is. Except then when you do the gift exchange, you tell people what you want.
Right.
You hope they get it for you, and then if they mess it up, you're just secretly kind of miffed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gift exchange.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah.
That's the fun thing about White Elephant is it's kind of like getting away from gift, because you're not getting it for anyone specific. Right. You're going to actually fight over it.
Right. Which I don't know if that's all connected to Christmas either, but
no, it's not at all. Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's so disconnected from all that it's just like a fun game. Yeah. It's like when you're playing Trivial Pursuit, and it's like, this is trivial, and I am trying to win, and that's what this is. It's a game.
To go back to a humorous thing, because this hit me, and I want to tell you about this. Have you played Bean Boozle?
No.
Do you know what Bean Boozle is?
I feel like somebody's told me about it. Maybe it was you.
No, I've never told you about it.
Okay.
Because I just played it. This is becoming a tradition on our Monday night, apparently. Uh-huh. But it is jelly beans.
Okay.
And they give you jelly beans and a spinner.
Okay.
And the jelly beans, they are two flavors, and they look the same. So you can either have like coconut or spilled milk, or spoiled milk.
Disgusting.
Yes.
I have heard of this.
Lime or grass clippings.
Oh.
Rotten eggs, or
Yeah.
So that was the game we played. There was a lot of puking. I
really?
got rotten eggs.
Like actual puking?
Like spitting. Yeah, it was. Rotten eggs taste exactly like rotten eggs.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And so it was a nasty game, but boy, was it funny. It was hilarious.
I see myself not liking that. I was the kid, so, if you didn't grow up in church, lucky you. If you did grow up in church, in a youth group, there were these horrible, in my mind, horrible games.
Can we ban all of those games?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
like, I mean, I don't know, chubby bunnies, or
Which
where
is
you
illegal now. You can't do that.
Good, thank you. Or where you like drink something out of your own sock. That whole have you?
Oh, I haven't done that one. I've done the baby food one.
Yeah, and this is where this nearly made me leave the faith. I mean, I was seriously I hated that stuff. And then you go and it's and I'm visiting my friend's youth group, and now we're all jamming marshmallows in our mouths and we're about to throw up. And I'm like, this is the last thing I want to do. I'm a self-conscious teenager. The last thing I want to do in front of this girl over here is barf my face off. Anyway, I'm not bitter at all.
We may have to do some counseling there.
Seriously, can we talk?
Or PTSD.
Was this? Yeah. And then you're going to tell me Jesus loves me?
Every time you see a marshmallow.
I think Jesus hates me and wants me to never enjoy my hot chocolate again. I hated that stuff.
Oh, man, I did too. I tried to avoid youth group.
Yeah.
Like the plague.
Yeah. There were eras of my life where I hated youth group. And then periods of time where, usually for me, there was some friend or girl that got me there. But outside of it wasn't youth group. Wasn't youth group.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I think back to youth group, I know we're kind of taking a whole different track, but I remember the older guy or the older woman in some little group that spent a little time with me, or outside of those groups, took me out for coffee or hung out at my house with my parents and just paid attention to me,
And that was really what left an impression.
Yeah, not any of those games.
Yeah,
not any of the Bible studies.
Honestly, the teaching. I don't remember jack squat. Yeah, the things I remember. Yeah, that kind of somebody. I mean, I went to a mega church. I went to the youth group a few times, and I was probably in middle school, and one of the probably college girls came and just sat with me and was just like, "Hey, what's your name? How are you?" And I just remember feeling really special. She noticed me and cared how I was doing. And weird. I remember what she looked like. I remember her, and it was just where I just felt important. But I don't remember anything else at all except for that. And then when I went to a smaller youth group, I remember a lot more. But I remember little things. Yeah, being taken out. I remember one time there was. My youth leader said, I need your help because when you're paying attention, other people pay attention. You're a leader whether you know it or not.
Wow, that's a very strategic youth leader you have.
Yeah. And I never forgot that I'm a leader no matter whether I think so or not. That stuck in my mind, right? And then and I remember that I got to name the youth group. There was a meeting and I just remember feeling very important, included.
What did you name the youth group?
Oh, do you know the answer to this?
No.
Yeah, get this. Epicenter.
And
which, if you didn't catch this earlier, the church that we just merged with was named Epicenter.
Oh my gosh! So you guys are you're like a prophet.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it was really. When I heard of Epicenter, the church before, I just laughed because I was like, "Oh my gosh!" That was the name. I thought that was the best name. I would have named the church that. Yeah. And it was for the same reasons too. There's going to be this movement that happens here, and it's going to spread outward. You got to be careful with the military terminology you could attach to that.
Yeah.
It could be really bad.
Yes, it can be
destructive. Yeah, but
it sounds like you had that young passion.
Yeah.
To change the world.
Oh, I totally had it. Yeah. Yeah, I was gung ho.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, and then what happened?
Well, I don't know. Then it got down to one person, and I was thinking about a new slogan, maybe,
Yeah.
One ant at a time.
One ant. Yeah, not just healing the city one person at a time.
Just one ant out of the church at a time.
Yeah. One word at a time. I'll just work on one thing, one thought.
One thought.
That's all we might get. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's man, working with people is hard, especially when you realize how hard it would be to work with you, right?
Well, speak for yourself. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
Just if the goal is to see all these amazingly transformed people, that could be really really depressing, right? Because it's such a. I mean, there are amazing things that happen, but we're all so stuck.
Well, I think when I was young, I believed that transformation meant that, like, you hit a point, cool things are happening, and nothing bad ever happens after that.
And
like,
you don't ever go
changes.
back.
Yeah.
And
you change and everything changes. Where it's like, no, it's actually that you can rebound faster, that the dive isn't as deep.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. I've come to define the win, like, with my wife and I in marriage, not so much as, like, we don't have a problem, but our problem doesn't, like, impact us for as long as it used to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it used to be 5 days. Now it's 5 hours.
Right.
And like going like, wow, that's really good, you know? Yeah.
Or you're in the same ocean that's tossing and turning, but at least now you have life jackets.
Yeah. You're not just afraid of that you're going to sink right now.
Yeah. No, there's that definite, and those are all really good things because that's how Jesus intervenes, and He does intervene in miraculous ways. But usually, miraculous ways are just to get you back on the boat,
or to inflate the life jacket you couldn't figure out how to inflate.
Exactly, the last second.
It doesn't pull you out of all the problems and just set you on a romantic, tropical island.
Well, and I think the thing is, like,
we're pushing this metaphor.
Yeah, we are. The thing I was thinking about, like, your walk with your dad. Yeah. And it's not a walk by yourself. It's a walk with Jesus. Yeah. But at the same time, that still means it's a walk without your dad.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, so he just is more prominent in the walk now.
Yeah.
But it's still no dad. Like, so, like,
there's still sadness.
Yeah. Jesus doesn't just say, "Oh, I'm here now. You don't need to be sad."
Yeah. Isn't it better your dad's not here?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
No, it's not better.
No.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any point in which I don't see in Scripture where that kind of platitude exists. Where it's just like it's better.
But we're just so prone to, like, want not to be sad, not want to be in pain. And I mean, I'm not talking about everybody else outside of this podcast. Like you and me are prone to that. Like, I find it in myself.
Yep.
And I hear everything that I teach, everything I read in Scripture. And it sits there, and I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, this is not,
My last topic,
are we pushing it?
We're pushing it, but one of my other topics I threw out there was doubt.
Yeah.
And how, we could probably return to this and give this a lot more space, but just in that, like, I think it's healthy for people to understand that, like, as pastors, like what you're saying, like, you get up and you say these things, and they might be true, but your sense of their being true as a pastor may not always be, like, just, like, perfectly clear and 100% all the time. Like, sometimes things are true whether I feel like it is or not. But that's complicated. So do you have doubts, Eric?
Well, I always, to speak of what we teach, I always teach that faith without doubt is not faith.
Yeah.
Because
it wouldn't need to be faith.
Yeah, because I always define faith as my relationship with God, the intimacy there. Because, you talk about gifts of faith and stronger faith and weaker faith, and really faith is developed by my pursuit of God. And I think of that in the context of a relationship with my wife. I love her. I'm madly in love with her. I have been for God knows how long, 20 some odd years. And yet almost every day I doubt our relationship and its genuineness. Right. And if she loves me or not.
Yeah.
Like, there's always a tinge of what the heck am I doing? Which is what makes it real.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not blind.
Yeah.
And
it's not just obvious and clear and yeah.
Yeah.
And doesn't, requires no thought because it's just so good.
It's miraculous.
Right.
And I feel the same way more with my relationship with Jesus. Like, you have these divine moments. There are moments there are no way around it.
Yeah.
Either I'm crazy or God is here, present, and amazing.
Yeah.
And I experience those and I taste them deeply, and then I think, is this real?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel good inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really my goal is to feel like that hole in my heart feels good.
Yeah.
And so I have a doubt all the time.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that God exists.
Right.
It's some belief system out there. Like, I think I have a legitimate belief system.
Yeah.
But I don't. But a relationship with God, a personal God, a Jesus who was born fully man and fully God, lived out a life I couldn't live, died for my sins. Yeah, that's more like, okay. This concept is way too radical for me to.
Yeah, and I can rattle off all the doctrinal things I believe, and sure, I'm fairly articulate, I suppose, so I can do that. But that, when you really, the real test, right, is always, so when I'm living, do I put all my stock in this, and so that's always coming up for me. Like I've shared with some folks just this example of, not too long ago, I'm driving down Broadway Boulevard in Tucson. I'm thinking about all the things I have to do, things that need done, overwhelmed, and just have this realization in this moment that, like, there's not 1 ounce of my being that thinks that God is involved right now. Like, just none. I have to figure it out. I have to get it done. And it just dawned on me, and then I prayed, and just kind of like the prayer was more like, God, I don't think you're involved. It wasn't this great prayer of like, oh mighty Lord, take my burden now. But it was just, it's just honest. Like I feel like it's like, if I don't get this done, nobody will, and you're not helping, and that was actually very helpful, just to even like voice and confess that to God. But then I thought, the worst thing is that was the day I recognized it. Like, that was the day of faith. That was the day where I actually, spoke to God about that, instead of just pushing on in the same mode and not even realizing I functionally didn't see God as involved at all. So often, I could talk to you about all these doctrines, but as far as like, do I believe them? Sometimes for little bits and moments and spurts, and and I need a lot of help. I need friends to ask. I need a church.
Well, that's I think the question often comes to me when I'm trying to find meaning in my life. When I'm trying to find like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Is there a point to all this? Often when doubt creeps in, when I have a long list of things to do. Feeling powerless. We should probably wrap this podcast.
I think we better.
Because you and I could actually talk for hours. Nobody's going to listen. Our listenership will go down from 51 to 2.
That's right. That's right.
Sean won't even listen. So
sorry, folks. Sorry, Sean. Sean, it's a good thing you've got such great genetics, because maybe you can listen to this. Your superiority. Anyway, signing off. I'm Andy.
I'm Eric.
Thanks for joining us.